Imagine this: an alien commander from an advanced, peaceful civilization lands on Earth. After years of observing us from afar, they decide it's time to get an up-close look at the one thing humans are known for: their military might. So, they take a trip to a human military academy, hoping to understand how a species so divided and war-torn has managed to survive, thrive, and even conquer the stars. But little did they know, this tour would turn out to be far more shocking than they ever could have imagined. The alien commander, sleek and tall, a being from a galaxy far beyond ours, stepped onto the Earth's surface, their mind filled with expectations. After all, their species was known for peaceful exploration and scientific advancement, not violence. They had no experience with human conflict, let alone human military systems. The alien was used to a world where problems were solved with diplomacy, where strength wasn't defined by battle but by intellect, and where survival wasn't dependent on military power, but cooperation. But for some reason, they were fascinated by this strange human obsession with force. So, they decided to visit the one place where all of this power comes together, a military academy. As the commander entered the academy, their first impression was one of sheer order. The buildings were imposing, designed to showcase strength and structure. The soldiers were disciplined, their uniforms sharp, their movements synchronized in perfect harmony. From the outside, it looked impressive, maybe even something their own civilization could learn from. This must be a place of great honor, the alien thought. A place where the finest minds and strongest wills come together to protect their world. The commander was initially struck by how humans revered their military. They watched as students trained tirelessly, practicing drills, running obstacle courses, and engaging in strategy games that demanded intense focus. To them, it seemed like a well-oiled machine, operating with precision. It was an impressive sight, and for a moment, the alien began to think that maybe human civilization had found a way to balance aggression with order. But then, things started to get strange. The alien commander watched as the recruits gathered for their first lecture. It wasn't long before they were introduced to the concept of hierarchy, a concept that was completely foreign to them. In their society, everyone had an equal say, and there was no one person who stood above others in command. But here, the human military was built on authority, with ranks that dictated who could speak, who could lead, and who would follow. The commander couldn't understand it. How could humans trust a single person to make life-or-death decisions for entire groups? Why were they so comfortable with a structure that seemed to breed division rather than unity? As the day progressed, the alien began to witness even more shocking aspects of human military life. They observed the grueling physical training, the soldiers pushing their bodies to the absolute limit, running, lifting, crawling through mud. The commander could see the pain etched on the recruits' faces, but there was no sign of sympathy from the officers. No comfort, no encouragement. Just orders and demands. It was as if physical endurance was the ultimate test of worth. The alien thought back to their own species' approach to education and growth. Knowledge, understanding, and collaboration were seen as the most important traits, not endurance and submission to authority. But the real shock came when the alien observed the soldiers being put through what appeared to be a real battle simulation. The training was brutal. Humans were taught to fight with weapons, not just with words, and the simulation felt as close to real combat as it could get. Explosions rocked the ground, simulated gunfire echoed in the distance, and soldiers were forced to take cover, fire back, and outsmart the enemy. The aliens' heart raced as they saw the soldiers, some no older than 18, ducking, rolling, and sprinting through mock battlefields. They could feel the adrenaline in the air, the raw terror of those who feared they might not make it out alive. But what really horrified the alien was the casualness with which this violence was treated. No one seemed disturbed by the blood and chaos. In fact, the recruits appeared to be thriving in this environment. They were competitive, ruthless, and relentless. The alien couldn't understand. Why would a species train its young to fight, to kill, to endure such brutality? Were they preparing for war? The very concept of war was something the alien could barely comprehend. To them, it was a primitive and unnecessary practice, one that caused nothing but destruction and pain. Later, as the alien commander observed the soldiers in more personal moments, during meals, in conversations, and in their dorm rooms, the contrast between what they saw and what they had expected was even more striking. These young men and women, who were training to become soldiers, were so full of life. They laughed, joked, dreamed, and shared stories. They were human, after all, and had emotions, connections, and aspirations. Yet, they were being conditioned to shut down their emotions in the name of duty. They were being taught that their individual desires didn't matter, only their commitment to the greater cause, whatever that might be. The alien commander began to feel conflicted. On one hand, they admired the dedication and passion of these soldiers. They could see that humanity had a powerful will to survive, to defend, and to protect what was theirs. On the other hand, they saw the costs of this military culture, how it hardened the hearts of the soldiers, how it stripped them of their humanity in the pursuit of something as abstract as victory. What kind of society would choose this path? What kind of future was humanity building? The aliens' breaking point came when they were shown the live-fire exercises. The recruits were being asked to aim real weapons at human targets, humans playing the role of enemies in a simulated environment. The alien watched in disbelief as recruits fired without hesitation, as if they were erasing another life without a second thought. The sound of gunshots rang in their ears, and the commander felt a deep, unsettling chill run through their entire being. It was as though humanity had accepted violence as the norm, a necessary evil in the face of an uncertain world. This was the moment when the alien began to question everything. They had come to learn about human strength, but instead, they were confronted with a society that seemed to embrace destruction as a way of life. The alien's heart was heavy with the realization that humans had built their entire foundation on fear, fear of the unknown, fear of each other, and fear of their own vulnerabilities. As the tour ended and the alien returned to their ship, they were left to reflect on what they had witnessed. The Academy had shown them a side of humanity they weren't prepared for, a side that was both admirable and horrifying. The alien was struck by the resilience of the human spirit, by their ability to push forward despite the horrors of war and conflict. But they were also disturbed by how this resilience had been shaped. Humanity's military systems had crafted a generation that was hardened by violence, disconnected from their true selves, and driven by an endless cycle of conflict. The alien commander left Earth with more questions than answers. Could humanity ever escape this cycle? Could they ever find peace without relying on the power of their military? Or was this their fate, forever locked in a dance of destruction and survival, endlessly preparing for battles they might never win? And as the alien ship disappeared into the stars, they couldn't help but wonder, would humanity ever be ready to meet the rest of the universe? Or were they too consumed by their own creation to ever see beyond it?